has come to our family. You remember our venerable house? Opulent and imperial, gazing proudly from its stoic perch above the moor. I lived all my years in that ancient, rumor-shadowed manor, fattened by decadence and luxury. And yet I began to tire of conventional extravagance. Singular, unsettling tales suggested the mansion itself was a gateway to some fabulous and unnameable power. With relic and ritual, I bent every effort towards the excavation and recovery of those long-buried secrets, exhausting what remained of our family fortune on swarthy workmen and sturdy shovels. At last, in the salt-soaked crags beneath the lowest foundations, we unearthed that damnable portal antediluvian evil. Our every step unsettled the ancient earth. But we were in a realm of death and madness. In the end, I alone fled laughing and wailing through those blackened arcades of antiquity, until consciousness failed me. You remember our venerable house, opulent and imperial. It is a festering abomination. I beg you, return home, claim your birthright, and deliver our family from the ravenous, clutching shadows of the darkest dungeon.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Darkest Dungeon. Quite a nice intro scene there, but I was originally going to start this as the first series on my channel, but due to certain reasons, I was unable to start it, and I recently just found out that the reason I was unable to start it is because apparently Darkest Dungeon does not work when you have Discord open, so I had to manually go into the task manager and end Discord in order to actually play this game. So I finally figured out why that problem was occurring, and now I can record it. So I'm going to play on the darkest difficulty. So you have 3 difficulties: Radiant, which is a little bit easier; Darkest, which is the average difficulty; and Stygian, which is sort of ridiculous because you have a limited time, limited amount of deaths. So basically, if you don't beat it quick, then you lose. So I'm not gonna do that one. I'm just gonna do the regular one. I'm not gonna go easy, but and we're going to name it Dubs the Duke. And here we go. If you've never seen this game,
along the old road. It winds with a troubling, serpent-like suggestion through the corrupted countryside, leading only, I fear, to ever more tenebrous places. There is a sickness in the ancient pitted cobbles of the old road, and on its writhing path you will face viciousness, violence, and perhaps other damnably transcendent terrors. So steel yourself, and remember there can be no bravery without madness. The old road will take you to hell, but in that gaping abyss, we will find our redemption.
So if you've ever seen this game before, it's kind of like a permadeath RPG type game. You get different characters and build up a roster, and if any of your characters dies, then they're permanently dead. But as you progress in the game, you can get upgrades to various buildings and various level ups for your characters and charms to upgrade their abilities and things. So as you progress in the game, even though your characters will certainly, a few of them will die, but most of them will survive and level up and become more powerful. So here is the tutorial mission. We only start out with 2 characters this time, but usually you have 4 characters in any given mission. So as you can see, we have a map here. We're in this room and we're gonna click over to this room.
Brigands have run up these lanes.
Progress.
Keep to the side path.
We have a Crusader
It is just
and a
ahead.
Highwayman, and you'll see in a second what they do. So our
Dispatch this dog in
Highwayman
brutal fashion,
has
that
both
all
a
may
dagger
hear
and
of
a
your
gun.
arrival.
He is currently in the 2nd slot, which he can use all of his abilities from that slot. Because here's the 1st slot, here's the 2nd, there's usually 4. But for this ability, it can only be targeted against characters that are in the 2nd, 3rd, or 4th slot. For this one, same thing. And so because there's only one character under the team, he can only target people in the 3rd slot. Which means that we can either do a dagger attack that does some damage and could potentially make him bleed, and do a great shot blast, which typically hits 3 enemies in a row all at the same time, and it also debuffs them, so it increases the chance of getting a crit on any of the enemies. As the game has progressed, they've done a lot of updates to change around each individual skills. Some of them have gotten more powerful, some of them have gotten less powerful. He just did a hit against us. He did some bleed damage along with some health damage. So with our Crusader, we have a couple of skills. We can hit one guy. This does more damage against unholy characters. We can hit 2 guys, but it does a little less damage. We could stun him. How much health does he have? He has 2 health. The stun honestly it has 90% accuracy, and he has 2 health, so if we do a single damage to him, he'll bleed out on the next turn. As a matter of fact, no matter what, he's going to bleed out on the next turn. So we'll go ahead and just
Obliterated.
we got some gold from that fight.
As victories mount, so too will
Here we have a
resistance.
tent. We can take a look in it. Someone left some valuables inside, so we
Leave
get some
nothing unchecked.
money.
There is much to be found
All
in
the gems
forgotten
are worth
places.
different amounts of money. The emeralds are worth 750, the sections are worth 250. And we'll go into this next room.
An ambush.
And we'll
Send
take
these vermin a message.
a couple of guys.
The
We got
rightful
surprised,
owner has
we essentially
returned,
moved
and their
around.
kind is no
It's about
longer
value,
welcome.
But that actually doesn't really make much of a difference. We can use tracking shot, which it has a 95% accuracy. It does very little damage, but it allows him to do plus 12% damage, plus 6 accuracy, and plus 4% critical chance. So we'll go ahead and do this on this guy. And it fucks this guy up. He hit us with a gun, and he used to point blank shot on us, and that actually perfectly moved us back into the position we wanted to be. We can use smite or stun against this guy. We'll go ahead and try a stun. His stun resist is 50%, so as a matter of fact, that's probably not the best thing to do. So let's just do a regular smite attack. We did 11 damage, which is pretty nice. I'm just going to use flank fire again, and we dodge both times. Again. Flank this guy again. And now we can do a pistol shot against this foil. So does 5 to 10 damage and 84% chance to hit, so this could kill him. But it left him with 1 health. Unfortunate, but that is what it is. I mean, with this, the person bleed damage, but we resisted. However, it did cause a little bit of stress damage. Stress damage is pretty dangerous
Continue the onslaught.
you can't really heal yourself with stress. It's very difficult to heal yourself. You can, but it takes a lot of effort to heal only a little bit. And if you allow your stress to get to 100%, your characters have basically a 75% chance to go insane and basically start causing all sorts of debuffs and randomly attacking, sometimes even attacking themselves or your own characters. They don't listen to you anymore, so you basically have no control over what they do. And we're going to finish this off with an open flame.
Prodigious size alone does not dissuade my sharpened blade.
Now we got some bandages as well, which we can go ahead and use immediately to bandage up those bleeding damage. And we can select either return your hamlet or completely victory. I know for a fact that on the tutorial mission this chest is always a trap chest, so we're not going to open it. We got 5,000 gold, along with all of the other gold that we obtained throughout the mission, 2,885. And from this mission, these guys both leveled up to level 1. They were originally level 0. And he got a quirk, which we will take. And he ended up getting Slugger, plus 10% damage from melee skills. That's very nice. However, a lot of the time, the quirks you get can be negative quirks, so it's a little bit dangerous to actually take them, but you can remove the negative ones later on, so.
Welcome home, such as it is. This squalid hamlet, these corrupted lands, they are yours now, and you are bound to them.
We have a set of goals over here, defeat all of these different bosses, basically. And then we have whatever happened this week. So we have that these guys leveled up to level 1, and that was about it that happened this week. So each game, quote unquote, is a week. Each round, I guess, each run. So as you can see, we have a lot of things that say complete more quests to unlock, but we have some explanation points. So
Most will end up here, covered in the poisoned earth, awaiting merciful oblivion.
So that's just where you can view the heroes that have died. We only have 2 heroes right now, so. We have a nomad wagon.
Trinkets and charms gathered from all the forgotten corners of the earth.
Those can be pretty useful. Also, for each building, you can upgrade it with these various heirlooms that we have collected, or we haven't collected any yet, but we have some just to start off. So, like, for example, we could increase number of trinkets available to 4. We could reduce the cost by 10%. We're not going to do that quite yet, but we could purchase some trinkets if we wanted to, but that would cost literally all of our gold, so we're not going to. We have Ancestors' Memories.
In time, you will know the tragic extent of my failings.
So that we can rewatch them if we want to. And finally, we have the Stagecoach, which allows us to get
women and men, soldiers and outlaws, fools
we will indeed
and
go ahead and
corpses.
upgrade the Stagecoach.
All will find their way to us now that the road is clear.
We can increase the number of available heroes to 3. We don't have enough to upgrade it to 4. However, we will take these 2.
A sister of battle, pious
We
and
have
unrelenting.
a Vestal, which is like a healer, and we have a Plague Doctor, which does some various time damage and has some other healing skills and things. We could increase the roster size to 12, but because we only have 4 out of 9 heroes, there's not really any reason to do that quite yet. Is there anything else we could upgrade though? Right now, we could just do this. So I mean, I guess we can increase the number of available trinkets or reduce the cost. One or the other, not both. I'll just have to reduce the
Rarities
cost,
and curios.
because
Sold at a profit, of course.
we don't really have much need, or rather we don't really have much money to buy them quite yet, so increasing the number of trinkets would not really benefit us unless we had the money to actually buy them. So here you can see we have like a trinket inventory, we have our goals, we have a journal for activity log, and we have our settings. And let's take a look at it actually real quick. Let's go to options, gameplay. So we have quest warnings, show warnings when advancing from quest. Yeah, we'll do that. Embark warnings. So that's basically just like if we're going somewhere without like, and we're forgetting something important, it will just warn us. Hey, dude, are you sure you don't want to do this? Ensure even more even long-term distributions in the stage scope. Yeah, we'll do that. So that means that for every hero we get, basically, in the long term, we'll get sort of an even distribution of heroes. It won't just be like random chance. So like, if we've never gotten a certain type of hero, it will probably lean towards giving us that type of hero for all the different classes. UI overlay gives icon hints to remind you of what items have worked on heroes in the past. Yeah, we'll do that, because I'm a very forgetful person. Gameplay settings as intended to be played. Turning this off allows you to toggle the gameplay. So yeah, we'll probably keep this. Now, what that means is monsters leave corpses. So that means that when a monster dies, the corpse remains there so that the position in the lineup does not change immediately. We have heroes get stressed and enemies can call reinforcements if you take too long to kill them. So basically, you can't just like spend a bunch of turns sort of grinding out health on like a single enemy, you know, healing up your person and not taking that much damage. You know, you gotta kill them quick, or else you're gonna start taking stress damage, you're gonna start, you know, taking other penalties, reinforcements, and so on and so forth. Stat penalties persist even after being healed off death's door, so yes, that means that whenever your characters die, there is, I think, a 2 in 3 chance that your character will not be killed, but rather they will go on to death's door. Or no, whenever your character gets to 0 health, your character goes on to death's door. And then there's, I think, a 2 in 3 chance every time your character takes damage that they will be killed. Or no, there's a 2 in 3 chance that they will not be killed, but there's that 1 in 3 chance that they will be killed on death's door every time they take a hit. So you can get to 0 health, but if you're at 0 health, every time you take damage, there's a risk of being killed. It might not be actually 1 in 3, it might be a different chance, but that's sort of how it is. Combat retreats can fail. Combat retreats sometimes require multiple attempts to safely escape. So yeah, that means that if you're running away, it's not just like you can just run away and not take any more damage. Now you have that risk of running away. So, you know, and because there is that risk of failure, running away usually is like a really bad choice to make. Like, unless it's an absolute emergency situation where there's literally nothing that you could possibly do to survive aside from running away is basically completely discouraged, because in the case that you fail, you've just wasted a turn, and now the enemies are going to get more damage on you, and your people get stressed out, and, you know, whatever. We have standard enemy crits. Enemy crits multiply base damage similar to players. If turned off, enemy crits just do max damage. So yeah, that means that whenever you crit, it doesn't just do the maximum amount of damage, but rather it multiplies the damage. So, you know, it might even be double damage, right, of what you would otherwise do. Town events are normal. Normal frequency is fine. Never again. When heroes who have completed Darkest Dungeon quest may re-enter that dungeon. Strict may not enter, permissive may enter, but will be stressed out. So, yeah, that means the final dungeon of the game is called the Darkest Dungeon. There's various little other dungeons that you can do, but for each hero that enters a quest to do in the Darkest Dungeon, they will never enter the Darkest Dungeon again. And that's how the setting is. So I've gone over basically all of the settings, and I think that's about it for this video. So this has been Dubs the Duke with part 1 of Darkest Dungeon. I'm going to go ahead and just do a little bit of a recording session, so I'll record a few parts of this. But as far as upload time goes, I don't know. I guess just sort of, now that I'm doing 3 series, maybe some days I think what I'll do is I'll upload Darkest Dungeon videos on the same day that I upload Rogue Legacy videos. And I'll upload Skyrim videos on the offhand day. So, this has been Dubs the Duke with part 1 of Darkest Dungeon. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.